Hello, Cellar Collective, and welcome to your August Red Wine Collective. So we're going to stay in Spain. And like I mentioned with our white wine, we're not going to go too far. So this is a beautiful red wine I'm excited to bring you. So this is Álvaro, it's Álvaro.
You can just pick it up.
Okay. So this is a beautiful red wine that I'm very excited to show you. So it's Álvaro Palacios, Terrasses, 2022. And we are in Priorat, DOQ. So this is a really fantastic red wine from one of the most iconic producers in all of modern Spanish winemaking. So let's talk about Álvaro first, because he has quite a history in wine and he would be considered basically the most important person in Priorat. So Álvaro comes from a family of wine growers from Rioja Alta, but he spent some of his career at Chateau Petrus in Bordeaux. So he has a very great pedigree for the winemaking there. And then came to Priorat in the 90s and really was a part of the Priorat Renaissance, which really brought back the region. And he was a source in that, or a force, I would say, in that. So since then, he's been in Priorat. He's in a small little village called Gratallops, and he's been making some of the most iconic, beautiful expressions, cellar-worthy expressions of Priorat. I would say his most high-end wine is probably that benchmark for a cellar Priorat. But today I'm bringing you something special as well. So this wine here is their flagship, and it really is the wine that showcases his style and his philosophy. And this wine is 60% Garnacha and 40% Cariñena. So Cariñena, which is a grape that, besides the Garnacha, it is a grape that gives a deep color, has beautiful acidity, and it also works really well in this terrain. So it does well with drought. And then there is a little 1% added, like little white grapes that are put into this wine, but really we're talking about two big house red grapes. And let's talk a little bit about Priorat itself. So Priorat is a DOQ in Spain, which is the highest ranking appellation you can have. It's same as Rioja. And what makes Priorat unique is the way that the terrain is. So this is high elevation. So we're talking anywhere from like 400 to like over 1,000 meters above sea level. So I would say most of the vines, they're terraced. They're only being able to be farmed by hand, by foot, because they're really steep slopes. And then they're known for their beautiful black slate soil called llicorella. And this soil is very, very poor soil. It requires the vines to go meters deep to find their water source, creating these very concentrated big red wines, but also wines that have this beautiful like graphite characteristic about it, which people really love about Priorat. So this wine in particular, like we said, is a blend, and it goes through, it's hand harvested. It goes through a long, slow maceration and then a year-long aging in big oak foudres, old oak. And really the winemaking technique is there to celebrate the grapes and the terroir in this wine, and really not to impact much flavor beyond that. So you have a very pure expression of the wine. So the 2022 vintage, this vintage was hot. There's a lot of extreme heat, extreme drought with this vintage. And so throughout Spain, there was a lot of damage, sun damage. And even in Priorat, there was. They lost about maybe up to 35% of their vines that vintage. But what was made was high quality and did very well. So it is still a really fantastic vintage, still very lifted and quite aromatic. So let's go ahead and give this wine a try. So I love this like beautiful garnet color on the wine. One thing to note is I decanted this wine about, I opened it up about over an hour ago now. So I would take at least 45 minutes to an hour to decant it if you're going to drink it right away. Now this is a cellar worthy red, so I would say go ahead and let it age if you prefer. It'll do really well with some time. So on the nose, I get a lot of like black fruits, blackberry, some bramble, black cherry, and some beautiful like spice, even like some sweet spice like cinnamon, but also like wild herb spice. And then I also get a little bit, a touch of that like graphite note to it. So on the palate, I think it's the same fruits and they really sing lots of luscious black fruit, very concentrated and quite intense fruit. But the tannins are really beautiful, finely integrated. So sophisticated. The acidity is there, which is beautiful. It makes me want more. It is such a beautifully made red wine. It is so complete. It's really, really stunning. So you've got the acidity, you have that grip, those tannins, but they are just so, it's just so beautiful. Everything is so balanced. It is really, really fantastic. It is coming from just a very talented wine grower and winemaker. And I think Riley's pairing is going to be so good with this. But I think it could go with a lot of, grilled lamb and braised beef, anything like that. It's craving it. But it's just such a beautifully sophisticated red wine. So I hope you enjoy this wine as much as I do. And cheers.